From shadowed depths the whispers rise, where sunlight fears to tread, of silent ships with hollow eyes, and crews long since been dead. The barnacles they cling and creep, the seaweed wraps the mast, while weary watch the sleepers keep, a doom that's meant to last. Heave ho, me lads, the tide runs black and deep. Heave ho, where secrets ancient sleep. The ocean sighs a mournful sound.
So let's go back to Jeff's original question. Areas of the realms. So we started kind of like 1500. We're 1500. DR.
I love it. Brett is manfully struggling to be the adult in the room.
No, I just curious.
Okay, teacher.
No, I think it's incredible that you can't keep a train of thought here, but it's, but that aside.
Sorry.
Our train of thought is two old men on a push cart on the rails.
I was accused last time we were at Gen Con, I was accused of the shit sandwich, right? Saying, hey, this is this, but let's put it in between two nice buns.
Oh, marriage is what brings us together. No.
But if you had cheese curds and gravy, it's poutine.
Okay, 1500 DR. What does Cormyr look like 1500 or 125 years later, or what does Impelter look like 125 years later?
And you see, there is our stumbling block at the moment, because I would want George to do the Impelter thing.
Yeah.
And Brian Cortio will come up there and murder us all if he doesn't get to do the Cormyr thing.
He's had his chance.
I think Cormyr Thunderdome. Put Grant, Tom,
don't you think
Brian into a cage? And...
Don't you think it's time for transformation? Take out the people and put in the roles, right? In the sense that, hey, we all have ownership in various ways in the realms, right? There's no, but in a way, you still want the world to progress, right? You still want to write to it. Also, you got like an hourglass of information, meaning, hey, it's ramping up over, what you wrote, Ed, and up to, say, 3rd edition, the lore went like this to 1374, roughly, right? And then it went to an hourglass, no lore, and then a little bit of 1500 lore, right? So you got this huge, almost emptiness of the 125 years.
Yep.
That's
the
true.
Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4th edition is the Dark Ages.
Yep. You're
we
right,
won't
Grant.
start that argument. Ed and I have had this talk since.
Is this why we go back to copyright? Because we can't bear to face the 125-year gap?
Oh, God, no.
Back to books and... Sorry,
I mean, one of the things that would be really cool is if we filled in the gap. And the only reason we're not allowed to fill in the gap might have gone away
with a retirement.
Yes. Because the enforcer of that was Chris and Jeremy, and they're both gone. Now, they were getting their marching orders from Bill Slavisek originally on that. Okay. So, and Bill is gone.
I have a weird suggestion then. Rather than worrying about, or looking at locales and places and people and all that.
Callum Shan and the Empires of the Sand,
Empires of the Sand, yeah.
Okay, so I have to level with all of you right now. I am contractually obligated to not interfere with another line of realm stuff. As in, I have to coordinate what I personally write so I don't step on the toes of, okay? Beyond that, I am totally fine with this. I mean, it would just mean that on occasion I'd have to say, oh, I can't work on that one. Okay.
Right.
But we could.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we're ignorant and we just don't know what it is.
Exactly.
I'm not under any NDA.
There you go.
Don't throw me into that there Cormyr patch.
That's right.
We can just
Show me on the doll. Where...
Why did my brain go to that bad baseball movie? Oh God.
What, Moneyball?
No, Charlie Sheen is the crazy pitcher.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Major League.
Major
Yeah,
League.
yeah.
With Madonna? With Madonna?
No, no.
That's a
No,
different one.
no.
That was
it's
actually a good one.
Susan Sarandon.
That was Bull Durham.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
No, that that's Bull Durham.
That's Bull Durham.
Oh, that's Bull Durham. I
Yeah,
just
Madonna and
remembered.
Susan and Sarandon
Anyway.
were in the same movie together.
You just remember
Yeah.
him sitting on the counter.
Yeah.
I was just remembering the bonking. Sorry, guys.
I'm a professional here, Jeff. I hope you edit all this shit.
I do edit this.
This is going to be a 5-minute podcast once you cut out all
And
the
I was going to say, so far I
non-professionals.
got about 10 minutes of good material. So
This
Jeff,
is Alistair Cookie.
Jeff, you can't be using our planning of what we're going to do
Of
in the
course
realms as a
not.
podcast.
no.
No, it's true. You can't.
That's why I said I only got about 10 minutes so far.
Okay, so
I got Ed licking the screen
for public
you guys came
consumption
on.
now.
All right. So if you imagined, again, back to 1500 DR, and you said, what would be the last place you would actually expound upon?
It's like herding cats.
Elminster
isn't it,
comes
Grant?
wheezing to the gates of Waterdeep.
Oh, okay. Are you talking
And then
When you-
falls over.
when you
Maztica.
say
I don't
the
know.
last place? Do you mean me?
No,
No.
not the last place, but no, I don't mean that, Ed. But I think no, just like where don't we want to see work, or who cares?
I don't think we should tackle Maztica at the moment because it's a political can of worms.
Yeah, I
Right.
think so.
they-
A cultural can of worms.
Yeah, Joaquin actually hired a Mexican guy to do the project, and the Mexican guy didn't even start before he was getting slaughtered. You're not sufficiently Mexican, and
What?
crap like that. Yeah, exactly. It was a
Wait, by whom?
people who were Southern Black Americans mainly, not
Yeah,
Mexican.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like don't leave that one alone. But here's the thing that we have not covered. Murgoth, the Dragon Princes, and they have to be good at what they do because they are the only thing that's been holding Zastam at bay, except the adventurers who play in every adventure have been thwarting him with the Dread Ring and Neverwinter and everything he does in the West. But so why hasn't he been steamrolling the East? Because he's got these undead armies. He doesn't have to feed them. He doesn't, he can literally work them to death. Ha ha. But I mean, it has to be the Dragon Princes. And we've talked about it, but we've never covered them.
And we
Now-
could probably stand to put some new polish on the old empires since they are obviously a little too derivative.
You wrote about they not too long ago in.
Yep.
Ed did, yeah.
And it's still in print and people can still buy it.
Really?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And you moved those armies forward, right? In terms of Zastam and essentially the whole nation today compared to where 120 odd years ago.
Oh yeah, because
You know.
here's the thing. If you have undead armies or undead servants, you don't need slaves.
The kraken stirs in inky sleep beneath the crushing weight, and ghostly fingers from the deep reach for a watery fate. The mariner who lost his way upon a starless night now guides the wrecks in endless sway, a chilling pallid light.
Like